We're getting started.
The one thing Kamala Harris has always been: fearless. As a prosecutor, she put murderers and abusers behind bars. As California's Attorney General, she went after the big banks and won $20 billion for homeowners. And as Vice President, she took on the big drug companies to cap the cost of insulin for seniors. Because Kamala Harris has always known who she represents.
This campaign is about who we fight for. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Where every senior can retire with dignity. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward, to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and end the Affordable Care Act. But we are not going back. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
American Marine and Motorsports save thousands on many in-stock machines.
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health, remarkable.
Our country has taken a beating the last few years, but I know we can turn it around. It'll take a lot of hard work like these athletes put in. We need to get serious about our spending that has caused prices to skyrocket. We need to fix our health care and address the shortage of affordable housing. Also, we must close our border, stop the flow of fentanyl, and put Americans first. I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message. Let's get America winning gold again.
Legacy Concrete Coatings. Concrete coatings in one day.
Live from Rhinelander, this is Newswatch 12 Weekends, the Northwoods' best news, with Austin Carisu, meteorologist Conrad Sapinski, and Will Harrelson with sports. News from where you live starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Austin Carisu. With just 8 days to go until the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, we now know who some of the prominent speakers will be. Two sources familiar with the plans tell NBC that President Joe Biden, former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have been confirmed as speakers at the convention. Obama and the Clintons also delivered speeches during the 2020 DNC, and a source familiar says that former President Jimmy Carter's grandson, Jason Carter, is also confirmed to be speaking as a representative for his grandfather. The convention, which kicks off on August 19th at the United Center in Chicago, takes place weeks after President Biden announced his withdrawal from the race following widespread calls for him to drop out. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, will formally accept the Democratic Party's nomination during the convention. Meteorologist Chase Ropenack joins us now with a first glance at the weather and what can people expect for the start of their work week, Chase?
Yeah, it's definitely getting warmer out there, and that's going to continue throughout the week. But for tomorrow, we might see a few showers and thunderstorms again right around those afternoon into the evening hours, 3, 4, 5 p.m. But for right now, looks like temperatures are just now getting right near 60 degrees. We can see Rhinelander at 61. Some areas are already getting to those mid-50s. Tomahawk at 56 degrees. That's usually where we see that cold pool throughout the nights. And then other areas are still right around those low to mid 60s. Down south, we can see Wapaka at 67 degrees. So temperatures are all over the place right now. But dew points right now are in those mid 50s, so it could be a little muggy out there tonight. Maybe have the fan or the AC on while you're sleeping throughout the night tonight. Other than that, it's not going to be too bad out there for humidity wise. All right, take a look at that radar. We had a few showers and thunderstorms early off to the west during the evening today, but now those are quickly dissipating. Nothing to worry about throughout the rest of the night for tonight. Going Going into tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny early on, and then in the Northwoods, we will have some showers and thunderstorms developing right around those evening hours, 3, 4, 5 p.m. And then down in the southern viewing area, they'll stay in the clear, mostly sunny skies for them, and some warm temperatures, especially down by Adams County, 82 degrees. As we take a look ahead for tonight, we're going to be right around that average low of 53 degrees. Austin?
Thanks, Chase. And the FDA says no to MDMA. The federal agency declined to approve the application for the drug commonly known as ecstasy to be used as a potential treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. This was the first time the Food and Drug Administration has ever considered a psychedelic drug for medical usage. Lykos Therapeutics cited data from 2 late-stage trials that involved roughly 200 people, which they say showed positive results for patients with PTSD. Talk therapy was also used in the trial. However, in June, an independent FDA committee voted against the treatment, citing concerns with the trials. Lykos will perform another trial to provide more information on the treatment to the FDA. And layoffs are on the way at Paramount. Thursday, the media conglomerate announced its plan to slash 2,000 U.S. jobs. This comes as Paramount prepares to merge with Skydance Media. The company has seen its valuation plunge in the last 5 years, with shares nearly dropping 80%. The layoffs are a part of Paramount's bid to trim $500 million in annual costs company-wide ahead of the merger. The job cuts will reportedly impact what the company calls redundant functions in marketing and communications, as well as finance, legal, technology, and other support functions. There have been some bright spots, however. Paramount said its streaming service, Paramount Plus, posted a $26 million profit last year, and the company said it expects subscriber growth in the second half of the year. And BMW is recalling more than 100,000 vehicles. The issue is with a starter motor. It can fail, and when drivers make repeated attempts to start the vehicle, it can overheat the motor. In a worst-case scenario, that carries the risk of starting a fire in the engine compartment. 14 models of crossovers and sedans from 2019 and 2020 are affected, and BMW will notify owners by mail, and dealers can fix the issue with a free software update. In the battle for the White House, with a war of words over campaign crowd sizes, and new polls showing Vice President Kamala Harris inching ahead of former President Trump in key swing states. NBC's Vaughn Hilliard reports.
Vice President Kamala Harris holding a sold-out fundraiser in San Francisco today after she and her running mate Tim Walz gathered massive crowds this week in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and this weekend in Nevada.
So good to be back in Las Vegas.
The crowds rivaling the rallies of Republican nominee Donald Trump, including at his event in Montana.
They said, oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
Trump accusing the vice president of faking her crowd size at this Michigan rally, posting on his social media platform, "We caught her with a fake crowd. There was nobody there." That assertion, definitively false. Thousands appearing at each of her events. The Harris campaign responding, Trump has still not campaigned in a swing state over a week. Low energy? A new poll shows Harris leading Trump among likely voters in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, within the margin of error. On the trail last night, Harris touting a policy proposal.
We will continue our fight for working families of America, including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
The taxes on tips first brought to the presidential campaign trail earlier this summer.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
Trump also posting online that Harris just copied my no taxes on tips policy.
We must defeat Trump.
Meanwhile, President Biden giving his first interview since stepping aside.
My Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races.
And coming up, the Vilas County Fair wrapped up in Eagle River this afternoon. We'll tell you what visitors had in store at this year's event after Weather with Chase when we come back.
What's our Hearns Furniture is the only furniture store in Wausau with over a dozen two-sided mattresses on display. When you buy a one-sided mattress, aren't you really buying half of a mattress? Wausau Hearns Furniture, half-mile from Fleet Farm, Wausau.
You work hard to put a roof over your head, and Overhead Solutions works hard to be your first choice as your trusted roofing partner. We want to earn your business. Call us today for a free estimate.
Hi, I'm Brian from Creative Granite. When I need the forecast from Minocqua, I go to WJFW.com for my hometown forecast.
Your hometown weather, available 24/7 at WJFW.com.
I'm attorney Christine Bremer. We represent many seniors who've been in accidents. It's heart-wrenching to see and terrifying for the elderly and their families. Handling these cases requires compassion, attention to details, and an understanding of the special needs of seniors. At Bremer and Trollope, we know that it takes a steady hand to handle injuries to our seniors. It takes a focus on people, because the right results matter most.
Eric Hovde, multimillionaire California banker, named one of Orange County's most influential residents. A glamorous lifestyle, the best parties. Hovde bragged about being in the 1%, but accused Wisconsin farmers of not working hard. Now, this California banker wants to buy a Senate seat in Wisconsin. Eric Hovde, what an arrogant, phony fraud. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Carpet City. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and get the toughest waterproof floors in the industry, where they're in stock and on sale. Rigid Maximum XL is 50% thicker and 30% longer, resulting in maximum durability, which is perfect for active families and pets. Not to mention, it's easy to install. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center to get your Rigid Maximum XL waterproof floors today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
Look who turns 50 this year, Wausau Hearns Furniture. And to celebrate, I've brought in 4 new two-sided mattresses. Bring a truck, take one home today. Wausau Hearns Furniture, 50 years in business. Half-mile from Fleet Farm.
Come see why it's easier than you think at Bremen Merrill Ford. Locally owned for 35 years. Over 150 vehicles in stock to choose from with interest rates as low as 0%.
Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great night tonight. And if we take a look outside, temperatures are right around 61 degrees right now. We got clear skies out there. Could have some clouds moving later on tonight. Winds are from the west at 6 miles per hour. Those dew points in those mid-50s, so it may feel a little bit muggy out there. And we do have that pressure rising just above that 30-inch mark. As we take a look at those highs today, we finally got back into those 70s. We can see 77 degrees for the high in Rhinelander today, and many areas near Rhinelander as well. We're right around 77 degrees. We see Eagle River there as well. Go down to the southern part of the state. We see some areas hit those 80s. Shawano at 81 degrees and Wapaka at 82. So it was a nice, warm August day for us today. As we go into those lows, we'll be right around those low to mid 50s. Rhinelander showing 57 degrees, but the nature of the Northwoods is it will be a little bit cooler. So we'll see right around the mid 50s for tonight. Areas across Wisconsin are going to see those mid 50s as well. Lots of 55s on the board for those early morning hours. All right, take a look into the rest of the day. We'll be right around 2 o'clock. We'll be hitting 78 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer with that sunshine early on in the day, and then we will expect some thunderstorms in the afternoon. But first, let's talk about those temperatures. Looks like we'll hit right around the 80s Tuesday and Wednesday, high of 81 on Wednesday, and then Thursday's when we'll have another big cold front coming through with some showers and thunderstorms, cooling things off. We'll see a high of 71 on Friday, maybe even a little bit cooler. Then we'll rebound nicely back into those mid-70s throughout the weekend. All right, let's take a look at that radar right now. It was a nice day today, but we did have a few showers out there today. See them off to the west of Rhinelander, and maybe a few showers did pop over Rhinelander as well. I saw that while I was out shopping today. And then as we go down to the south, there was a few areas down by Wausau as well that saw a few showers, but nothing really bothering us out there for today. It's going to kind of be the same thing for tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies early on in the day, and around 3 to 4 and 5 o'clock is when we'll have a cluster of thunderstorms developing once again. They won't last too long, though. They'll make sure they'll diminish by those late night hours, and then we'll be in the clear as we go into Tuesday Saturday around 8 a.m. All right, taking a look into tonight, we'll have those partly cloudy skies. The low's going to be right around 53 degrees, and then we'll see those winds are going to stay pretty calm from the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. As we go into tomorrow, mostly sunny early on, and then during those evening hours, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we'll have a few thunderstorms develop, but they will diminish quickly as we go into later on in the evening. Otherwise, high is 79 degrees, and again, those winds are going to stay pretty calm from the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. After we deal with a few storms tomorrow, the temperatures are going to be very nice Tuesday and Wednesday with some sunny skies right around 80 degrees. Then we do have a cold front coming, bringing some showers and thunderstorms Thursday. That'll cool us off big time with temperatures only at 71 degrees on Friday, and rain will linger into Saturday. Austin?
Thanks, Chase. The Vilas County Fair wrapped up in Eagle River this afternoon. While this year's fair was disrupted in part because of some cold temperatures, the fair's treasurer, Deb Clemens, said there's one highlight to the fair that remains constant.
I think the highlight of the fair for me is just watching the kids. You know, I don't think that ever changes. They get such joy on their face when they see the lights, they see the rides, and they just can go have some fun.
Fair Secretary Leslie Hugg also encouraged middle and high schoolers to compete in exhibit contests for categories such as baking, arts, and jewelry.
An awesome thing, even though we don't have 4-H here, would be to get the ages, it's like 8 to 17, I think, can be junior department. And instead of open, and we are so welcome to more junior, we need more junior projects in the exhibitor barn.
For more information on how to enter those contests, you can visit vilascountyfair.com. And the annual Hodag All-Class Reunion had the streets of downtown Rhinelander completely blocked off on Saturday. Whether you graduated in the 1950s or 60s or this past summer, the Rhinelander High School reunion is for all former Hodags. Susan Connard graduated RHS in 1971 and comes from very far away to see her former classmates.
I drive all the way from Tennessee to be here. I come to the reunion every year because I want to see all my friends.
Connard added that this type of reunion and the Hodag displays all around it are unique to the community of Rhinelander.
Get to see everybody and you have a great time. It's awesome. Yep. There's no other towns that do stuff like this.
While Brown Street was closed to vehicle traffic, all businesses stayed open to offer an escape from the chilly weather at the reunion. And some memories you just don't forget. And that's the case for one 93-year-old Middleton, Wisconsin man. We'll tell you what Olympic Games he competed in over 50 years ago.
Food support is just a call away. Call the Family Food Helpline.
This message is to all homeowners, businesses, and churches that need a new roof.
Most people know American Quality Homes as Wisconsin's premier roofing experts.
As remodelers, we see a lot of roofs. We have found that 90% of roofs we inspect have mistakes. As for pricing, big roofing companies are charging way too much. So at American Quality Homes, we've decided to do something about it.
We're making a pledge to all homeowners who need a new roof. Our pledge is simple. 1, your roof will be done right the first time. 2, you will get the very best value guaranteed. And 3, all of our projects are backed with an insurance policy.
You need an AQH roof. Go to aqhroofs.com. That's aqhroofs.com.
Keep 15 grand in your pocket when you buy your next truck. This 2024 Duramax is 95 grand. This used 2024 is 80 grand. Buy the used and keep the 15 grand. Come out to Len's Truck today. We have hundreds of high-quality used trucks, all priced to move. Go now to lenstruck.com. That's lenstruck.com.
Len's Truck. Len's Truck. We got the trucks at Len's Truck.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
I'm the proud son of a single mom.
My mom worked nights to provide for us.
My mom worked 80 hours a week.
But Eric Hovde thinks if you have a single mom, you're going to be poor or a drug addict?
That is a direct path to a life of poverty. It leads to higher drug rates.
That just shows Eric Hovde is ignorant.
Come on, I'm successful today because of my mom.
I learned my work ethic from my mom, my single mom.
What is wrong with this guy?
Sure is nice to have my 3 older kids home to visit. Oh yeah, I love coming home. I missed having soft water.
That's why I bring my laundry home on the weekend.
It's so much better for my hair too, but you wouldn't know anything about that, Corey.
And that's why my hair looks so nice and moisturized.
What do you know about moisturized hair?
Well, having 2 older sisters and a brother who only showers a couple times a week helps.
Well, actually, 72 years of treating water in Wisconsin is our family story. You kids are pretty well versed in water.
So let us make your family's water better today.
Find free food support in your hometown. Call the Family Food Helpline.
Some memories you just don't forget. And that's the case for one 93-year-old Middleton, Wisconsin man who can recount his experience winning silver at the 1956 Olympics. Reporter Mackenzie Davis has his story.
At 93 years old, John Bennett still remembers this moment.
It's a silver medal.
Earning a silver medal at the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, Australia.
1956. Seems like a long time ago.
In the long jump, jumping over 26 feet at 26 years old.
You don't forget those moments.
But as time goes on, the everyday memories start to fade. A few years ago, John was diagnosed with dementia. But his family says the moments that are still with him today are the ones from the Olympics.
Well, it's hard to describe something like that, but what a wonderful experience. And we always work for. I'm all choked up.
Born in North Dakota, John was a track star throughout high school and eventually went on to run track and field at Marquette University in Milwaukee. After graduating, he joined the Army and continued to train to qualify for the 1956 Olympics.
That's the most important thing, to represent your nation.
But now that those days are over, John and Therese are happily retired, residing in Middleton, and, of course, happily married.
Because it's an experience of a lifetime. It's something to remember for the rest of your life.
And the 2024 Summer Olympics came to a close today. Coming up after the break, Will Harrelson will join us with the game's final results.
Find free food support for your family. Call the Family Food Helpline.
It's time to kick the tires and light the fires at Menominee Casino Resort with our Revive the Roar promotion. Starting August 4th, earn entries to win your share of over $84,000 in cash and prizes and a smoking hot 68 Pontiac Firebird. Menominee Casino Resort. Find your win.
American Marine and Motorsports save thousands on many in-stock machines.
The one thing Kamala Harris has always been: fearless. As a prosecutor, she put murderers and abusers behind bars. As California's Attorney General, she went after the big banks and won $20 billion for homeowners. And as Vice President, she took on the big drug companies to cap the cost of insulin for seniors. Because Kamala Harris has always known who she represents.
This campaign is about who we fight for. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Where every senior can retire with dignity. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. To give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and end the Affordable Care Act. But we are not going back. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Did you know more than 1/3 of adults don't get enough sleep at night? Hi, I'm Kristen from Sleep Central on Highway 51 South in Minocqua, your bedding and futon headquarters. Our specialty sleep shop is committed to helping you sleep. We carry the largest selection of name brand mattresses in northern Wisconsin, in stock and ready for delivery. With a wide variety of futons and unique bedroom furniture with quality all-wood construction, as well as accessories to complement your bedding, we are your one-stop sleep shop. Sleep Central. Better sleep, Pain-free, that's our promise.
It's time to kick the tires and light the fires at Menominee Casino Resort with our Revive the Roar promotion. Starting August 4th, earn entries to win your share of over $84,000 in cash and prizes and a smoking hot 68 Pontiac Firebird. Menominee Casino Resort, find your win.
Learn about your local free food programs. Call the Family Food Helpline.
It may have been the final day of the Olympic Games, but there were still some medals to be decided, and maybe none were as important as the women's basketball finals. Team USA has been dominant thus far in the games and look to continue their streak against the host country, France. France gave the United States everything they could handle and at one point held a 10-point lead over the Americans in the third quarter. But Asia Wilson wasn't going to let Team USA lose as she scored 21 points to lead her team to a 67-66 victory in the gold medal game. The United States women's volleyball team was in action today in the gold medal match versus Italy. Today just wasn't the day for the Americans as they fell behind early, and Italy never looked back as they went on to win the gold medal match 3-0. USA earned silver with the loss. Now that the games are done, let's take a look at the final medal count. The United States finished with 126 total medals, 40 of them being gold. China in second place with 91 total medals, 40 of them also being gold. Next is Great Britain in third with 65 total, followed by France in fourth with 64 and Australia in fifth with 53. The rest of the top 10 features Japan, Italy, the Netherlands, Germany, and South Korea. Few teams have been playing as well as the Milwaukee Brewers have as of late, as the crew have won their last 5 outings. Now Milwaukee looks to make that 6 in a row as they faced off against the Reds in the weekend series finale. So let's see if the Brewers could make it 6 in a row. We begin things in the second inning. 1 on and 1 out for Joey Ortiz, and he launches one to deep left field. Outfielders chasing after it, but he's going to run out of room as this one sails on out of there, and the Brewers lead 2-0. Now to the fourth, 2 out and bases are loaded for the Reds, and Santiago Espinal is going to smack one into center field. That will fall for a base hit and will plate 2 runs, and the Reds would tie this game up at 2 apiece. Now to the seventh, bases loaded, 1 out for Spencer Steer, and he's going to hit this one high and deep to left field. Jackson Chourio will track this one down, but that's plenty deep enough for the runner to tag and score from third, and the Reds will take the lead. Cincinnati would hold on to win this one 4-3. Here's what Brewers manager Pat Murphy had to say about his starter post-game.
He's really become a pitcher, at least he showed today. Some very capable hitters over there in that lineup. And he demonstrated to me, and Gary did a really nice job of them, demonstrated to me he could do it.
Murphy also spoke about the performance of relief pitcher Joe Ross.
With our bullpen situation the way it is right now, you know, with some guys injured and not wanting to stress some other guys, yeah, I mean, I thought he did a great job.
Moving from the MLB to the Northwoods League, the Wausau Woodchucks were in action taking on the Madison Mallards in the opening round of the playoffs. The Woodchucks used a big 3-run third inning to take the lead, and thanks to some incredible pitching, they were able to hold Madison to a single run. The Woodchucks would add 2 more runs and win this game 5-1, setting up an elimination game tomorrow in Wausau. The Green Bay Packers kicked off their preseason on Saturday, taking on the Browns. And after one game, it's so far so good for the Green and Gold as they were able to go into Cleveland and walk away with a 23-10 victory. Packers QB1 Jordan Love got only 1 series in the game, but 1 was all he needed as he came out and went 2 for 2 for 63 yards and a big touchdown to Dontavian Wicks to start the game. However, Love was not the only one who performed well. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said he loved what he saw from the team in Game 1.
I thought the things that we were looking for in terms of the effort and running the football and finishing, I thought that it was on point. I'm sure there are some things that we can work on and get better at, but all in all, it was great to see. We got everybody in the game, and I thought everybody made contributions.
Packers' next preseason game will be next Sunday when they head out to Denver for a matchup with the Broncos. We'll have more for you right after the break.
Get up to 57% off list. The anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture ends soon. Like this sleek sofa for just $6.98. Sit back and relax in a Lazy Boy recliner for just $4.99. It's the final days of the huge anniversary sale at Slumberland.
We've all seen these ads by Senator Baldwin attacking me. She's lying to you. But that's what career politicians do when they get in trouble. The truth? I was born and live in Wisconsin. I've never run a nursing home, and of course I believe seniors should vote. The false attacks are going to keep coming because she has nothing to run on. Her record has failed us on inflation, the border, and crime. I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message for this reason. It's time for change.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month. Call 1-833-376-4999.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too. Call now.
You'll soon vote on two misleading constitutional amendments. They're designed to trick voters into eliminating checks and balances in our government. It's a power grab to give the legislature the sole power to distribute emergency funding. Our legislature is ruled by bickering and gridlock. 6 months without passing a bill. Millions lost from their failures. So don't give them the sole power. Vote no to questions 1 and 2.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of Ford vehicles, like the Built Wild Bronco family, with a deal you just can't miss. Your biggest adventures are waiting. So make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Make it a lease on a new Ford Bronco Sport for $299 a month for 36 months. Only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
People come in different sizes. That's why Slumberland invented the any size one low price mattress sale. No matter what size mattress, twin, full, queen, or king, you pay just one low price. Get this memory foam for just $99, only at Slumberland.
Minocqua area businesses and organizations are taking it to the streets for the annual Crazy Day Street Sale, August 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. downtown Minocqua.
So, Chase, the Olympics wrapped up today, and it looked nice and sunny out in L.A. over there, where the next Olympic Games will be held in 2028.
Yep. Yeah, no, we're not going to have L.A. weather around here. You know, we're up in the Northwoods, but it is going to be warm. Tomorrow we're going to be near 80 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day until right around the afternoon hours. But as you can see, for the regional forecast, many areas will be right around 80 degrees, high as 79 in Rhinelander. A few storms may pop up in the afternoon and the evening hours, and looks like in the southern viewing area, they'll stay more dry. By Adams County, you can see a high of 81 even tomorrow. So definitely going to be a nice warm summer day for the middle of August tomorrow. But let's take a look at that radar going into tomorrow. It's going to be mostly sunny early on, and then right around 3 o'clock is when we'll have a few storms pop up, especially right on top of us in Rhinelander, stretching down to Wausau. But that southern viewing area will be in the clear, and those will start to diminish going into those evening into late night hours, and will be in the clear going into Tuesday morning. Take a look at your 7-day forecast to start off your work week. A few storms tomorrow, but temperatures are going to be nice up near 80 degrees, and that will last until Wednesday. A nice cold front is going to move in Thursday, bringing more showers and thunderstorms that will linger into the weekend, and we'll be back with conditions improving by Sunday and a high of 75 degrees.
Gotta love those 80-degree weathers.
Yep, it's going to be nice. Enjoy it while it lasts, because summer's going to be coming to an end soon. So.
Yep, definitely. That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Wausau Furniture is the only furniture store in Wausau with over a dozen two-sided mattresses on display. When you buy a one-sided mattress, aren't you really buying half of a mattress? Wausau Furniture, half-mile from Fleet Farm, Wausau.
Get an 11% rebate on your outdoor projects at Menards. Shop our great lineup of Ultra-Deck low-maintenance composite decking and the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscaping blocks. From decks, patios, fire pits, and more, get free estimates fast using our easy do-it-yourself design programs. Visit us in-store or on Menards.com to get started today. Get an 11% rebate on all decking and landscape blocks.
Save big money at Menards.
Summer won't last forever, but during Toyota's national sales event, you can make memories that will.
Come on.
There you go.
Where's my mom? Just be in the moment.
Right now, lease a new, fun-to-drive Corolla for $219 a month. Or lease a sporty 2024 RAV4 for $329 a month.
Toyota. Let's go places.